Okay, here we go, guys. This is Marxism and education in hopefully under 5 minutes. So first of all, Marxism has a view that is macro theory, it's structural, and it's a conflict approach. So it sees there's a conflict between two groups in society. The biggest issue is capitalism. Capitalism is the problem in society, and we are in a capitalist society where profit is more important than human need. This has its origins in the work of Karl Marx, and this is what Marxism is based on. Now, we are divided in society in terms of capitalism because we have the bourgeoisie who own the factories and the means of production, the ways of making money. We also have the proletariat who own nothing but their ability to labour and sell their work. And ultimately, the role of education is to maintain that, to keep that division. We want the rich to have power, wealth, and have control. We also still need a workforce, so education is to prevent radical change, to reinforce and reproduce inequality, and to prevent revolution. Now, Bowles and Gintis come up first of all, and they talk about how school takes place in what they call the long shadow of work. So school is like work, it mirrors work, and this is where their correspondence principle comes into play. There is a correspondence, a link between the classroom and the workplace. Now, they say this is a result of the hidden curriculum, where we're taught hierarchy, control, and respect for the people above us. There is a routine in education. So we are told to follow the rules, keep times, and wear certain uniforms. We have the myth of meritocracy, where we think we have an equal chance. We think the best people deserve qualifications, and if we fail, we think it's our fault. We never question the education system, the teachers that cause us to underachieve. Now, there is some positives that it does show there is a link between the workplace and the economy, but it is economically deterministic. It focuses too much on the economy and that how everything works in order to make money for the rich. So there are some flaws in this approach. Altseb from 1971, he talks about how education is an ideological state apparatus, an ISA. Same argument he made in family. The only thing that's changed is education is now what it's focusing on. Now, he says that education reproduces and legitimates inequality. So every generation of working class kids are going to underachieve and in low paid jobs, low skilled jobs, selling their labour to the bourgeoisie. The middle class end up in higher paid jobs, they get better grades, better qualifications, and they maintain their position in society. So this creates inequality. And part of this is linked to meritocracy again. So the ability to create this division is based on us thinking education is fair, and that our failure is the result of our underperformance. Now, there is some social mobility in society. We can't say that every working class person fails, because we need to have some who succeed. That reinforces the idea of meritocracy, that we can do well, and that's part of our false class consciousness, that the few token examples of working class people who make a success reinforce to the rest of us that society is fair and makes us believe that we can achieve, even though ultimately capitalism is going to stop that from happening. So most top positions in society are given to the ruling class, and a division here is that the working class students who are on free school meals getting into Oxbridge, there's about a 2001 chance, or 1 in 2,000 chance of that happening. For middle class students, it's about 20 to 1. So there's a much greater chance of middle class students getting into Oxbridge compared to working class students on a free school meal. Willis brought in the idea of the anti-school subculture and the lads who want to have a laugh. So this develops their ability to cope with boring working class jobs, and ultimately it's anti-school subcultures, working class subcultures that cause underachievement. So he says schools don't produce a willing, obedient workforce. Students were disruptive and challenged the system. The lads had anti-school subcultures, no value for academic or schoolwork. They opposed school values. School was boring. They wanted to get into the world of work. And they used these coping strategies to help them eventually enter that world of work. Now, these boys did fail in education. They did underachieve. They did end up in low paid jobs. And again, this just ensures that a constant stream of workers occur. So it's not just the capitalism causing these boys to achieve, but sometimes these anti-school subcultures also do the work for them. And then lastly, Bourdieu. Now, Bourdieu talked about capital. Capital basically means wealth, and he broke it down into 4 types. You had cultural, educational, economic, and social capital. So these are the ways the wealth we have that helps us in education. Now, to combine them together, all those capitals come together and form habitus as one big thing. Ultimately, the middle class have high habitus, the working class have low habitus, and this is kind of cause a difference in educational success. Ultimately, this is good. The 11+ exams show there is this clear gap between middle class and working class knowledge, but it is possible to develop capital, cultural capital, from friends, peers, teachers, and the media.